Hi, I'm Connie Romweber with Masterpiece Molds. Today I'm going to show you how to use a medallion mold. You can see they're very handy for things like wedding cakes and gingerbread houses. And there are two different ways you can use them. Your first option is to use fondant. So I've got a clump of fondant here. You notice there are no seams on the front at all. I've just sort of tried to get it the general shape of my mold, and I'll press it in a little bit to get it started. And then I just roll very firmly back and forth. And at this point, I'm going to pop the fondant out just to make sure I've got perfect coverage, and I do. So we'll put it right back in there. And roll again. And now we are ready to remove the excess. So we'll just pull away. And we're just going to parallel the top of the mold. You want to keep your knife as close to parallel as you can because you don't want to slice into your mold. Alrighty, just take whatever little excess edges are left. We'll grab a plate. Perfect. Then we'll let that rest. Okay, my medallion has had all night to set up, and I have printed out the initial that I want to put over it. And I have just a nail that I've washed. And then I'm holding the initial, and I'm just pricking through the printed part with the nail, being very gently with my holding down, because even though this fondant has had overnight to set up, it can still dent quite easily, so you want to use a very delicate touch. Okay, so now you have a very vague group of dots. This is from the sewing basket. It's a seam ripper, and it just has a nice edge to it. It's a little thicker than a knife. So we're just, and it's smooth too. There are all sorts of things you can use. A dowel rod that you've put in a pencil sharpener is a wonderful tool. A pencil that has no lead in it that you've sharpened, another good one. So you can just see I'm forming the letter, and with each pass it gets more and more finished looking. And you just keep taking wider things and impressing them. And do a little experimenting. This is a pair of scissors. This gives you a very nice, deep, wide. This is really excellent, as a matter of fact. Sometimes you want to go back the other way. I've used a variety of instruments to generate this lovely engraved initial, and now I'm just softening the edges with a little bit of vodka and a paintbrush. It just smooths it, sort of rehydrates it a little bit. So I'm just using the cap here to prepare some with vodka. And you want to skip over the indented initial because that really helps to see it. Of course, this stuff is not essential, but I think it really makes a big difference in the visibility factor. Okay, and there you go, a lovely indented initial. You have now engraved a medallion. The second way to cast a medallion is using white chocolate, and that makes the medallion engravable, like what you see on the wedding cake. If you are an experienced chocolatier, just go ahead and temper some chocolate, melt it, temper it, and use it. If you are not, I find that this is a good system. I use a little over a cup of real white chocolate, and then I also use white chocolate chips, about 1/3 of a cup. They have a different fat in them, and so it confuses the cocoa butter and it makes it think it's tempered. I also add a touch of canola oil. That just keeps it a little bit loose, and it doesn't seem to affect the hardness of the chocolate. So this will go into the microwave for 30 seconds, and then stir, another 30 seconds, then stir, and you know, just repeat as needed until you have lovely liquid chocolate. Okay, I am back from the microwave. It took 1 minute and 30 seconds, so that was 3 intervals. The way you fill one of these molds is to fill it up completely. Vibrate it. Pour a bunch back out. Vibrate it some more. You want to make sure you get all the air bubbles out, and then you can fill it again. Okay, that is ready to go into the fridge. To carve an initial into this white chocolate medallion, I'm going to place another printed letter over it, and I will just cut through the printing with my X-Acto knife, which is a brand new, very clean blade. Nothing actually sticks very well to chocolate, which is why you have to hold it by hand. Duct tape works fairly well, but doesn't seem to go with something that's edible. Okay, so now we remove that, and it'll probably be difficult for you to see, but I can see the center line of my initial. So if you look at this, this is a very good reason to keep your room keys when you go to a hotel or a motel. See, I've cut a wedge into this at the bottom of the room key, and what it does is it allows me to engrave. It pushes right through the center line, and it makes a wonderful engraving in the chocolate, where in the fondant we were only able to sort of press it. This actually does a wonderful job of removing the chocolate, so you get a much sharper detail. You can also use a there are many carving tools that are available for clay. Anything that works for clay works for chocolate. So that's a good thing to know. Just putting the final touches on this engraving. And now we're ready for luster dust. Just a touch of vodka. You want to try and keep it out of the grooves. You can always go back with your room key and grind it out afterwards if you've gotten some in there by mistake. So now you have 2 new ways to enhance your confections with medallions. Thanks for watching. I'm Connie Romweber with Masterpiece Molds.